And from the actual standpoint of like them against other people, when you start TOing, you're like, this person played this person, right? And you know, I'm gonna go ahead and table that thought for now because we are now starting game 1. Jules Vale once again. Julie's Vale, honestly. Once again, though, Jules Vale is going to start off our losers' quarters.
And there, right there, we saw one of Darai's recovery tricks that he's innovated for the character, the Needle Storm at the ledge. You're seeing Cheesy be very careful about how she engages with it because Darai can tech and immediately do either like an invincible ledge dash or throw out an aerial.
Right.
And usually the frame data of that option will beat out the end lag, which you just hit him with.
One thing I do know about how to counter that, Plastic Dinos at Heatwave was able to best Darai. And one thing he said he did is whenever that Needle Storm is happening, I just don't touch him because he wants to get hit. He's saying, hit me. And all of a sudden, we get a couple forward airs into the side blast zone, and that is going to be a Galaxy at a pretty low percent. And wow,
gets the tech! You know these two play against each other all the time. The thing that's great is the bubble was there, too. So just like, I was already wanting to DI that way anyway.
Yeah, it's the double insurance policy. But, you know, as they say, it is all about the pilot, and CheesyPotato is the pilot of her own insurance policy. So one up strong doesn't kill. That rock's not there for you. I'm going to throw it out again. You're going to die. And now we're at even stocks. But Darai is quickly building up percent in the second stock. And right there is the tech Waveland. Says, please hit me.
Yeah, but Cheesy was ready for that, right?
Yep.
She already had the rock and tossed it right at Darai's face for doing the option that she knows he wants.
Yeah, and so the really key there, like the key big thing, is she was doing that with a down special projectile. Hitting the Ranno with a projectile, if your projectile is good enough to get through Needle Storm, is actually the way to handle that situation because now you are far enough back where you can handle a tech Waveland.
And Darai puts himself at an even bigger lead than the previous stock, but uncharacteristic SD just falls off the stage. Doesn't drop a beat, though, immediately dispatching that pillar off stage, and yes, lining up another back air, focusing on getting the edge guard that he wants.
Yeah, and CheesyPotato putting up a high pillar not too far off a stage and now is going to have to wall pillar and does not get the tech, but lands back on with a quick back air. And Darai doesn't get enough charge to get the kill.
Dispatches with the rock on the platform, so that's not an option as it moves over for Cheesy to tech off of.
Yeah, Cheesy has to make a new pillar, does get multiple techs, and the tech Nair gonna push Darai off stage, and now we have Darai in a recovery situation.
Gets
with
the
aerial
reversal
needles.
tongue? Looks for something from CheesyPotato, something to react to with a back air, and Cheesy knows not to give it to him. Super armor, but these aerials are still nudging her off stage. Darai is not giving up control and leads into an up strong right afterwards.
So that Dare 1-2 hit fall into up strong is true. I believe at some percents you can tech it, but I know the Dare hit fall into up strong, if it's not 100% true, it is true on most options you cover.
And we're going to Troutpool Pond, and especially considering how much Cheesy likes having platform control, I think this is a wonderful pick for her stage style. Also have, I think those outcroppings on platforms help a lot with your recoveries as well, being able to have that mix-up of going straight up or like under the platform.
Right.
And we saw Darai's win condition was so much about getting CheesyPotato off stage and saying, look, I know you're a great pilot, but every plane has to land eventually.
Exactly, yes. And so now we have, you know, this is always considered to be almost like a bad stage for Kragg, so it's really interesting that this is the counter pick. The points you brought up are very, very true, and it's making me regret taking CheesyPotato here if I said twice, right? It's like, wait, she likes the stage?
Well, I mean, theoretically, I could totally see it.
Yeah. Oh, and the quick fast fall, maybe expecting to land on the corner of the stage there, and Darai waiting out the spawn invuln after getting that parry and getting a little bit of percent before getting a little over eager and getting parried for it.
I like that Darai just waited specifically for the rock to land on the platform. It's like, okay, I'm using my invincibility to break this immediately.
All right, CheesyPotato
Beautiful
back off stage once again, and actually getting a jab on the pillar towards the stage. That was a really interesting option, and just this is a back and forth slugfest right now.
Ooh, the trade definitely working in Cheesy's favor, and no hesitation throwing out the next up strong to catch the platform landing.
Yeah, and so that was a really interesting spot. Like, you're like, oh, that was just a raw up strong, right? Well, darai wanting to plat drop multiple times, but more importantly, the rock on the top platform there, even if it wasn't obviously going to be a kill against CheesyPotato, anything that sent Cheesy away from that position as a punish was going to give rock as an option to tech on.
But now we have Cheesy with the chance to get some real damage in on darai's last stock. And we have the rock coming into play. And that's kind of the question, too. You mentioned this happened to you in your set with CheesyPotato, right? How do you find time to break that rock in a way that Cheesy doesn't kill you for trying?
Exactly. And, yeah, if you don't find that time, she'll kill you with it. So it's a conundrum for sure. And a 2-stock coming out on the counter pick, even with a little bit of an SD there on that first stock. CheesyPotato finding some footing. And, you know, it's really interesting. Both players that SD'd in each game still ended up winning. And I feel like sometimes if you're not SDing at on the big stage, that means you don't care enough, right? Like, if you're not like putting it all out there and taking those risks and going for those like really precise inputs, it means you're playing a little too safe. And you see it there as they both win those games that they SD'd on.
Yeah, not everybody gets every gamble they go for, and my goodness, the forward strong with only 5% on CheesyPotato within 20 seconds, already a big lead here on Forest Floor.
Yeah, what a great reaction, Perry, to the dive kick. darai does not do the downward dive kick very often, so either that was an incredible read or Julie was just completely ready for it.
I mean, that is what makes kind of reads incredible, is just seeing people who are playing at this level force some risk in whatever their opponent chooses, right?
Right. We talk about these two being practice partners often, and, they've probably been in this situation many times, and CheesyPotato is just sitting there ready for it, and wow! That is also a very hard reaction, Perry. Oh my goodness gracious.
And this rock positioning, especially being on this platform where Cheesy is edgeguarding right now, looking to knock the bubble away a little bit, and darai's not going to make it back once again.
CheesyPotato up 3 stocks to 1 here, and not going to die from the up strong. This Kragg is living to the percents you don't want Kragg to live to. And here's the platform coming into play with that survivability. Any of those could have killed if it was not for rock.
Yeah, and good on darai too. As the techs were happening, those moments of tech animation gave him the opening to break that rock, right?
Right. Oh, and an instant parry coming up on the wall riding up special. That's a rare parry that you don't see often. And CheesyPotato's parry game has been immaculate and possibly making the difference in this set right now.
We have darai trying to start something in the corner.
Oh, another SD.
If the pattern holds, Cheesy's going to win, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And it's just, yeah, there's something about going for those precise inputs and barely missing the timing, showing that you're still willing to go for the options that you want to go for.
Yes.
Even if you're SDing doing it, you're still comfortable in your own skin and you're comfortable trying to go for things.
And this was, again, no hesitation coming out from darai. He's down to his last game to give here in the loser's bracket, and he's going to bet it on Ethereal Gates. This is a huge Blast Zone stage.
Yeah, I don't know what this is going to give Ranno that it doesn't give Kragg, but I guess if you're DIing out, you're going to get a stock at less than 80% as the Ranno.
I think a big part of that was Cheesy recognizing that darai had succeeded in that pillar dive, right? Forcing Cheesy off stage, took the double jump with that forward air, and just kind of realizing, I'm not getting back, let's just run it to the next stock immediately.
Very potentially, and that was a brilliant idea from CheesyPotato there. Putting that pillar on the right side of the bubble actually pushed the Ranno to the right and the bubble to the left, separating Ranno from his beloved toy.
That's the experience coming out, and it's what I love to see with Chi. Oh my goodness, the perfect angle to land into that bubble at the top.
We call that the Kansas hitbox sometimes. It's as big as Kansas. It could be as big as Alaska. It's not. But, you're just flying off the stage sometimes, and you're DIing, maybe to try to get hit by the sweet spot, and you go backwards while getting hit by the sour spot. And just dies completely off the side blast zone. And now CheesyPotato, though, in a very dangerous spot. And wow, the tech roll.
What? That was a down tilt to punish landing fair.
Yeah.
Beautiful hurt box shifting from darai. But this is actually giving darai the lead that he needs in order to get back into the set and bring it to a game 5. Beautiful recovery with those up airs to interrupt the pressure that CheesyPotato was trying to start, and a reversal up air.
Yeah, CheesyPotato having none of it. A few times we've seen darai go a little bit too ham on these punishes, getting the openings and then pushing just too many times. And CheesyPotato has been ready for the reversal like instantly in any given situation.
Steven, I think I know the motivation for this stage pick.
What's that?
The platforms move so that it's harder for Cheesy to constantly position herself under the rock.
Oh my goodness, that is a great, astute observation, my co-caster.
What we have right now, Cheesy trying to hang back around that platform, but here we have it moving towards the center and forcing her to move closer, but gets the parry off the rock break. CheesyPotato popping off once again against her practice partner, friend, and teammate, darai. What an incredible way to close out the set. Even better this time, being able to do it in 4 games, really showing her stuff as the new up-and-coming Kragg.
Yes, absolutely. And CheesyPotato will now be moving on to fight the winner of the last set that we saw, which is Penguin. And we have the top 4 seeds as the only 4 players remaining in this bracket. It's going to be a just insanely high hill to climb. But it's very possible, as we've seen, these parries have been on point. Every time that darai pushed a little bit too hard, CheesyPotato was ready and calm with the counterplay.
Yes.
Waiting and getting ready to parry a downward dive kick, parrying the needles from a range that was unreactable, just completely based on a read. And, you know, recognizing that the slow landing nair from Ranno honestly catches most people off guard because you parry too early. You expect him, you know, to be mashing the fastball. But she saw it happen once. She adapted, and she didn't get hit by it the second time. Instead, she killed darai for it.
Yeah.
And so I am excited to see her move on and, you know, maybe get some parries on some clouds. Penguin likes to do a lot of up special approaches, and I think she's looking to be the most scary person in this bracket so far.
I want to make sure to give some important shout-outs right now, because first of all, darai was seeded 10th and made it all the way here to top 6 to 5th place, which is an incredible performance to be able to get 2 upsets, right? Once on Protagify and once again on, who was it in losers? Oh, Y.